Yes, yes, yes. We're live.
You alrighty?
Yes, seriously, all right.
All good, son. All good.
Mate, we're back. Obviously, you have noticed. I told you, but we've got a logo, courtesy of slightly courtesy of AI, and slightly courtesy of my partner who helped with that. So yeah, it's taken us 2 years to get a logo, but we've got one.
Didn't you make
Uh,
one? Oh, is when you think about combining it with UFC, you had one at one point, didn't you?
yeah, at the very start, I was gonna do one. I was gonna do UFC and stuff as well, and then yeah, we just had that shitty picture of like a Vardy as like a
Yeah,
captain.
I looked the other day because when I made that FPL group for the Money League, I was like, I need to put something in there. I thought, I'll put the Fox and Fantasy logo, and then saw it was just the Vardy 9. Like, I mean, to be fair,
Yeah,
it does serve a
it
purpose.
sort of did the job. I mean, yeah, it was like pretty basic, but yeah, now we've stepped up. And obviously part of the reason why I did it as well because I'm doing these thumbnails now that take about 2 minutes to do, so they're nice and easy.
Yeah,
Um, I thought, yeah, you want to have the logo in the corner of that and like make it look semi-profesh. But yeah, you might have seen the one from this week. Anyone who's joined, let us know in the comments if you're watching. Um, I put us on the Anana incident yesterday, last week, which
that
we'll
was
get
the big
into.
one, wasn't it, at the weekend?
It was, but yeah, that's my plan moving forwards. Is basically each week, whatever the biggest moment is from that weekend, I'll see if I can get our faces into it somehow.
Yeah, shout out.
Um, yeah, but yeah, so getting into last week, I think we both hit pretty average scores, right? About
Yeah.
70.
Yeah, I didn't manage to hit those heavy heights. Unfortunately, I was in the 60s, but yeah, you took the dub the first week.
Yeah, although I was a bit annoyed in the head-to-head league. Let's just go straight into it. I lost to Rye by 1 point.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah, shit, I haven't checked mine. Who was I playing? Oh,
you got
getting up by
smashed.
Dom.
Yeah.
No shame in losing to Dom.
No,
Get him
I
out
mean
way
he got 80, one of the highest scores of the week.
early.
Um, yeah, but some tight ones in there because obviously a lot of similar teams, a lot of people
Yeah.
getting around the 70
Oh,
mark.
you used off to the flyer.
Yeah, considering he did his team on the last day, um, yeah, he did pretty well. Um, let's have a look just quickly at like Dom with 80. Yeah, see Isaac is a big differential, or was a big
That was a
differential
huge
last
one,
week.
yeah.
I saw that he's been transferred in quite heavily this week, which I'm a little bit surprised about considering they've got
Didn't he
Man
go up?
City.
He's gone up 0.1, hasn't he?
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
he
Yeah.
has. Maybe that's why people are trying to beat the price rise, but obviously they've got Man City away, so it seems a bit
Yeah.
of an odd time to bring him in.
I think they got Liverpool next as well.
He is
Not,
class, though. I mean,
yeah.
he is class. Um, like I didn't really consider him all preseason only because like him or Callum Wilson last season, it was really hard to like
Yeah.
choose, and actually towards the end, Callum Wilson was the one sort of getting all the goals.
Yeah.
Um,
It's still not guaranteed to start, is he? Although I think it's more likely now that, say, Maximan's gone, although they have bought in Barnes. I think they still share the minutes a little bit, especially when the Europe kicks in.
yeah, Barnes looked pretty sick when they brought him on. Obviously got what was it, 2 assists or a goal and an assist.
Go on,
Goal and assist. He could have had another assist as well. I think
yeah.
Wilson almost scored. So he's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Another 6.5.
Newcastle, they
Um,
scored a lot of goals as well. Newcastle, so everyone thinks they're like solid defensively, but I remember at the end of last season they were smashing everyone. So
yeah, they do, and if anything, they've their team and their squad's improved since last season. So, like, not having any, it's only because they got Man City away and then Newcastle and then Liverpool that I don't have any, but not having any assets that can't last for too long. Like, I'm
no,
gonna have to get something in. Um, I mean, you did pretty well considering just getting into your team. Considering you didn't captain Haaland, I mean,
I know.
you picked the next best thing. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean, just as well he did do something because obviously with City being the first game on the Friday night and Haaland scoring two, I was just like, when he scored his second, there was still quite a while left in the game, wasn't there? So I was thinking, oh, here we go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm happy with the way it panned out in the end. To be fair,
It
yeah,
was sort of 2 goals from two shots. I don't really remember him having any other
no,
involvement really in the
I don't know
game.
if you watched. He was a bit like that last season, wasn't he? And I don't know if you watched the Super Cup in midweek. Again, he was like, wasn't really getting involved, didn't have that many touches. But when he does, obviously he's lethal. So
Yeah. The second goal was pretty clinical. In fact, they both were both first touch finishes.
yeah.
Hello,
mate.
Charles. All right.
I think he had a good start. I think he might be if he's in. I don't know if he's in the Foxton Fantasy League, but he was top of the Money League on Saturday evening. I don't know if that transferred over into Sunday. I'm sure he'll let us know if he did. But yeah, Liverpool fan. So
we'll have a look at some point. I mean, if you or anyone else is not in the fantasy league, then I've put it in the I'll put it in the description, so you should be able to find it below the auto join link.
João Pedro as well. Obviously, he helped me out with the.
Yeah. I haven't actually. I actually didn't watch much of it in the end. I didn't see the highlights of that game. I know it was a pen. How did he look generally though?
Don't know because I only watched match today, and you didn't see a lot of them on there. I was stuck in Cheddar. It was a nice weekend, but the signal out there, oh my god, I had no data, no Wi-Fi, couldn't watch any games. So yeah, I had to resort to match of the day. So I've been catching up this week on the old scouting. Yes, Sloaner.
Yeah, Sloaner's there. Yes, mate. All right. Sloaner, another one who didn't captain Haaland, I think, as well.
I think he had Odegaard.
Yeah, it's that's unlucky. The United trio that me, you, I know Pernell had the same three. I think Greg captained Bruno, which considering how much he hates him,
I swear, Greg, he's got a bit of a habit of capturing people he hates. I swear, it's like Kane a few times as well last season. But
yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, they were pretty shit, weren't they? They were.
I mean, fair play to Wolves though. Like they were like I'd written them off completely. Like, I think a lot of people I can't blame Greg or anyone else for captaining the United player because on paper it looked like they sold a bunch of players. They haven't brought anyone in. Their manager had gone. It's like the ideal fixture, United at home to Wolves. But
the only thing going for them is that like their form towards the end of last season or in the second half of the season after Lopetegui came in was actually really good. And even though he's left, obviously, I think O'Neill, by the sounds of it, is wise enough to just like come in and not rock the boat too much. So they must be, they're a pretty well drilled side from having Lopetegui there.
Once I saw the lineup, I was like, actually, yeah, they have got a lot of decent players. Not squad wise, but yeah, starting 11. Some good tidy players in there. And they were just running all over United. A bit worried if you're a United fan.
I mean, obviously, for us, it was all right. Shaw got the clean sheet, but there's a lot of people who have Anana who's quite highly selected. I mean, other than conceding, he might have got booked for that foul. He should have got booked, but I suppose there's no other real downside. And I mean, worst case scenario, he might have actually saved that pen, and he could have ended up with crazy points. So. But it was a clear pen. There's absolutely. We were messaging at the time in our group and just like, how is that not being given?
I mean, they apologized pretty much immediately after the game, wasn't it? It's like it didn't take long for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they're trying. I mean, they're obviously trying to be a bit more like transparent this year or like owning up to their mistakes. But fucking our first game of the season at Old Trafford as well. It's like if you wanted to like show that you're serious this year, that was the time to do it. And they fucking
I just don't understand. There's sometimes it's like, they take ages on something that everyone can see is like, why are they taking so long? Like it's it's a clear offside or something like that. For that one, it's just like, just compose yourself, take a second, see that he's punched him in the face, and act accordingly. Like I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like ultimately, Sloaner says defo a pen. The thing is, like, obviously they say, the ref. What I don't get with it, and what riles me up the most, and I do bang on about it a lot, but it's like, obviously the first season when it came in, remember VAR were like making the decisions, and the refs were just giving it, and they weren't actually. There was no screen. They weren't going to check the screen. They'd had that in the World Cup, but not in the Prem. Then they brought that in, and the whole idea is, well, you give the power to the ref. Ultimately, he's the one who makes the decision. But because the apparent threshold is clear and obvious, when it is still basically up to the VAR, because when the VAR asked him to go and look at it,
Yeah,
in their mind they're already thinking it's a clear and obvious mistake because that's the threshold for
yeah,
sending me to the
it's just
screen.
confirmation, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically just confirmation. It's just like it's a bit of a charade, like the whole thing. It's so rare that you see them stick to their original decision. So ultimately, the VAR has their like we all know if the VAR said go and check this out, it would have been given 100%.
yeah,
Like so, that's what annoys me about the whole thing. You might as well maybe lower the threshold a bit, and then the ref actually goes to the screen and makes decides yes or no. It's not just like a formality where it's just like
yeah, definitely.
But obviously, the reason why they don't do that is because they don't want to send. They're trying to limit how much you send them to the screen. You don't want to do it for every decision, which I get. But yeah, I don't know. They've got it wrong at the moment. From what I heard, I didn't see it. It wasn't the Luton pen. From what I heard, they sent the ref to the screen, and he did actually stick to his decision, his
Yeah,
original
that was
decision,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was
which
another
is
contentious decision that they fucked up as well. I can't think what game it was now.
well, the Brentford pen. I wouldn't say it was a fuck up. It was a bit soft. Like it
Oh
was.
yeah,
It was softer than the United one.
that was soft. Yeah,
Um, I'm a bit surprised they deem that as a clear and obvious mistake. Again, it's one of those where the ref saw what happened. He was in a good position, and they gave it. Obviously, I was a bit annoyed because
I think there was another. Sorry, carry on.
no, I was just going to say because that got Embuemo his points, who I don't have. Just say Greg's here. Yes, Greg. I don't know what time it is over there. I don't know if you've had a few bevies or what, but yeah, good to have you. We are doing it a little bit earlier this week. Yeah. So anyway, I mean that kind of covers that. Obviously, it showed. I mean, I think the weekend showed if you didn't know it already, the benefit of having pen takers like Embuemo, Pedro,
Yeah,
those 6.5s who were on pens. Both of them scored pens. So yeah, Paj is there as well. Yes, Paj.
Ash.
Paj, I think got a very good start, about 85 points.
Yeah,
We'll have a look at a few teams in a minute, but yeah, with the Luton one, I really need to look at it. But if the ref didn't change his mind after a VAR intervention, so like I say, it's like one of the so rare that happens, and it happened to be for the one decision where we needed
yeah,
not to be a pen.
yeah,
And Luton I think they only had 2 shots on target all game, and one of them was the pen, and they scored it. But obviously, I think Luton are gonna. The stats were very one-sided. I know Brighton are a good team, but they are gonna struggle this
they are.
season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Estupiñán's probably going to be a bonus points machine in that team because in those 4 goals, he only got an assist, and it was for like the last goal, and it was for like the last goal, which didn't even mean anything, and he still got the bonus. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was a bit surprised. Wasn't Pedro on for free as well? I think Pedro was on for free bonus
yeah, I
at
think
one
it was
point.
split like 3 or 4 ways, like for the 2-pointer in the end. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky in a way because I didn't have a Estupiñán in my original team. I only put him in because we got that early team news that Gvardiol wasn't playing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Stones. So yeah, that was quite good that you had that last week. Obviously, I did take Stones out. You did see afterwards that there was a bit of news about Gabriel as well, who obviously didn't end up playing. Just on that quickly, obviously Timber looks like he's going to be out for quite a while.
most of the season, yeah.
But Timber was playing left back, right? So
Yeah,
obviously last year White was playing right back, Gabriel in the middle.
yeah.
He started with White and Saliba centre back. So is Zinchenko fit?
He is now. So he played in a behind. We had a behind closed doors friendly against Luton yesterday. He played. Reece Nelson and someone else. Raya had his first game. But yeah, Gabriel's fit. Zinchenko's fit. Gabriel was a tactical decision. So yeah, effectively they played really
Was
one
it?
at the back. It was Saliba basically at the back on his own, and
Yeah,
White and Timber like we're getting forward quite a bit. But I think you'll see more of that potentially at home. But now that Timber's been injured, I think we're just going to resort back to the usual White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. If Gabriel doesn't play this week, then it probably does mean that he's off because he has been linked for a move to Saudi.
I saw that. Yeah,
away to Palace is a different kind of game to home to Forest. So yeah, I'm sure that he'll start. I think he's probably one of the most transferred out, but I think I'm pretty sure he'll start.
Yeah, I mean ACL. Even if he does come back, it's pretty much a whole season because by the time you're fit, obviously you need quite a long.
Exactly.
I thought you did that on purpose, Sloan. I thought that was his nickname or something.
No,
I
his
thought
nickname's
that's what I
JT.
was. Yeah, Timberland's a decent nickname to be fair. But yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him. Maybe towards the very end. But yeah, I mean, it was anyway. It was an easier decision for me because I had Gabriel and Saliba, and I think Palace under Hodgson had been scoring a lot of goals going back to last season. So it was pointless for me having two Arsenal defenders anyway. I mean, they might keep a clean sheet, but I thought I might as well just get Gabriel out.
Yeah.
But like you say, I think he will probably start. Chilwell, obviously, you had on the bench, but I mean, it's good that you've got him. Obviously, he was sort of one of the standouts of the whole
He's
game.
basically playing like left wing. I think I've read today actually that somebody asked Poch in his press conference what position, like what was going on in the last game, formation wise, and he actually said that Colville was playing left back and Chilwell was playing left wing. And yeah, I was going to double him up with James, but obviously we got the news yesterday that he's out again with another injury because those two look like they're just going to be attacking wise an absolute threat, and then their fixtures are really good for clean sheet potential. But yeah, James is out now, which a lot of people are jumping on this Gusto train.
Yeah, so Gusto came on for James in the first game, and I checked, and obviously he's 4 mil, so it seems like if he is going to fill in, they might well buy someone between now and the end and when the window closes. But if he is going to fill in, that could be a bargain. And I think Chelsea then next 2 game weeks, they got Luton at home and
yeah, they got West Ham this week. But yeah, you can take a watching brief this week, and then Luton. I think they're home to Luton, home to Forest, away to Bournemouth. So
yeah, I mean you can't really ask for better fixtures than that. And obviously James, we know he was injury prone. That's partly why I was wanted to get Chilwell anyway. But now, yeah, he is actually injured.
It's annoying that because obviously they've bought since the last pod, they've bought Caicedo and Lavia. They've completed today as well, so their midfield is looking solid now. So they are probably looking quite good for clean sheets going forward. So yeah, Gusto, if he starts this week, he's going to be the most transfer. He's going to go up like if he plays this week and they get a clean sheet or some sort of attacking return, he's going to go up like 0.2 or 0.3 in a week probably.
You would think so, yeah. I mean, we kind of got away with the Liverpool game a bit in the end because Chilwell had that one disallowed for offside. And Salah as well had one disallowed for offside. So, and there was no clean sheet. So in the end, and it was a Trent assist for the Salah offside as well. So it could have been much worse.
I think on that Salah goal, that was the other thing I remember with VAR. I'm not sure if this is 100% true or not, but it looked like they drew the line from Salah's arm. So again, dodginess with the positions of the lines. So they need to sort that out as well.
Yeah, that was one of those where they didn't seem to know where to draw it. And it was very close. Pache managed to get Chilwell in before the price increase. Me too. And it looks like he might go up again.
I think he will go up again, yeah.
I saw James was transferred in by about 180,000 before his injury. Obviously, you don't know. I guess it would include wildcards in that. Some of those will just be able to just take him out easily enough. But some of them will have been like, got him in early. And
that's why you don't make the early transfers unless, like you said, you're doing a wild card.
Last season, I did a lot. It was something I was doing quite a lot, and I got away with it nearly always. But it is dodgy. I'm definitely gonna try and not do that unless it's like there's a definite price increase happening.
Yeah, if it's like for a team that doesn't have Europe, for example, and they're not playing again for a week, it's going to be unlucky if they get injured in training.
Yeah,
it's like even putting City players in this week with them having the Super Cup is like just wait until they play that game and see what happens. Because you don't know. Sloan is saying they might get Pavard or Cancelo. Cancelo's a weird one at City. Yeah, he's still knocking around at City, but doesn't seem to be. It was rumored for Barca at one point. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think he did too well at Bayern. From what I heard. Just lastly, obviously we both put Richarlison in. Spurs looked decent going forwards. Obviously Madison got 2 assists, but
Yeah,
Richarlison was, as we thought, he's basically their only striker, so he was playing number 9. But it's just one game, right? And Brentford away is tough, but he didn't really have any chances. He didn't look particularly sharp. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, that didn't work out, and it's a bit of an unknown. They're going to have to buy a striker, surely. You can't just have Richarlison
yeah,
all
they're gonna have to.
season.
Well, the rumor is that they want to go for Balogun, but I can't see that selling Balogun to them. Although they've got a lot of money with the Kane money, if they came in with like silly money, probably be hard to turn it down.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're gonna
uh,
have to get at least one more striker.
yeah, it's one of those.
He's only scored 1 goal in 28 for him, isn't he, Richarlison?
Richarlison,
Yeah,
yeah, obviously, yeah, like having Kane there wasn't good for him, but yeah, I mean, you'd think with Madison there, he is going to get a decent amount of chances. He just didn't in that game.
yeah,
Probably don't need to spend too long on my team because very similar, almost exactly the same. We just had different captain choices, but Diaby looked very sharp. So in the end, he got the same as Mbuemo, who was like, it was a bit of a toss up between those two.
yeah.
And obviously Villa got smashed, which didn't help him. But
That's the one game I saw a bit of, and their defense looked all over the shop. But attacking wise, they look good. So
yeah, obviously Mings got injured. He was another one who I almost had in my squad. He obviously got injured, and I think they kind of fell apart a bit after that. Newcastle were really good as well, but Diaby was a bit of a standout. So they've got a couple of decent fixtures now. Everton at home, Burnley away. So yeah, I'm quite happy with him at the moment. Going to stick with him.
was he on corners? Do you know at all? Or I'm trying to think who else
I
usually
don't
takes,
think so, but he was basically playing up front pretty much as a
as
two.
we thought. Yeah,
And yeah, like he's going to be a pretty key player for them. And Villa, they have got quite a strong squad, like a strong team. So you would think like they'll be like top half of the table.
yeah.
Which should help him get some goals. All right, transfers wise, should we just get into it? So the big news is that last night I very rush. I don't know if Purnell's watching because he'd love this. And just quickly in the comments, Sona saying Diaby looks quality. Leave Palo alone. And I think Chelsea's going to be the one to watch. I think, obviously, with Poch as manager, they are, and the signings in midfield, like you said, that they made. But there's just so many ins and outs. It's hard to
take them a while to. That's why
exactly.
that's probably one of the reasons why I was impressed with them, because they did play so well. And when last season they bought so many in January and they didn't play well. But yeah, if Jackson got injured, for example, then they're another one that's got no striker backup with Nkunku out. So
yeah, true. That is true. I was a bit surprised that Raheem's still starting for them as well. Like he didn't really have a great season last season, and I don't know, man. I think he's well past his best.
yeah, Mudryk looked pretty sharp when he came on. I can't see why he's not getting a run of games at the start of the season, because they need to start giving him minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, last night basically I jumped the gun and I wildcarded, and like I'm still not sure if it was the right decision or not. Possibly not. I know it's definitely not recommended to wildcard in week 1, especially considering I had a pretty decent score, not amazing, but decent. But basically, I had already brought in Salah and Chilwell, which I saved the money for. Annoyingly, if I just had both of those in game week 1 instead of Gabriel and Bruno, I would have had a really good week.
Yeah, probably
and I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't have had to have taken a -4, and I probably wouldn't have wildcarded at all. So I was a bit crazy that it's led to this. But I thought in the end, I wanted to just I think I am quite keen to build the prices up this year early on. Like I think that could help in the long run. So I've had, I think, 5 price rises in this team, and also my bench was really weak, and I didn't have any money spare. So any price rise was going to be a problem for me if I did want that player.
Yeah.
So in the end, I ended up bringing in, Chilwell for Gabriel, Gusto, like I said, at 4 mil for Bulldog. If Gusto does start,
Yeah.
I think I'll probably, I'll be keen to play him and Chilwell together,
Yeah.
especially for those next 2 game weeks. Then I saved a mil by bringing in Wan-Bissaka for Shaw. Shaw seemed to be playing that inverted.
Yeah, the centre back. He didn't
Yeah.
look comfortable, really.
No, it means that he's.
for it.
Yeah, like if it's a bit weird because Wan-Bissaka's the better defender out of the two.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense for Shaw to be the one that goes forward and Wan-Bissaka to invert because he's fucking useless going forward.
Yeah.
Although he has improved a little bit.
Yeah. So I just thought, obviously, it's 1 week and Wan-Bissaka got the assist and the bonus, and it's like, but Shaw over the course of the whole of last season or whatever you'd think is a better pick. But I just think you can save a mil, you're going to get the clean sheet either way.
Yeah.
And Wan-Bissaka, as far as I can see, has just as much chance of getting attacking returns. So yeah, that was where I saved a mil. I brought in Maddison for Richarlison. Again, I just think at the moment, like he was taking all the set pieces. Obviously, he got 2 assists. Like know what he can do from Leicester, obviously. So I think, and again, he's another one who hasn't gone up in price yet, but is bound to, like probably in the next week.
Did he play 90 minutes or near enough 90 minutes?
I think he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, and I think he will do.
He'll get a lot of bonus points in that team because where else is like you said, everything goes through him. So
yeah, exactly. So him in for Richarlison. Salah, like I said, was for Bruno. Diaz was for Rashford.
Yeah,
I don't want to be too like rash with Rashford. It's a bit of a play on words, but like I don't know. He's really high owned. United in general were shit in that game. They're not going to be that shit every week. You wouldn't have thought. So like my only fear with this team is not having the money. Well, what I could do is obviously I could downgrade Salah to Rashford. That would then give me plenty of money to, I don't know, bring in Jackson
whatever you want, really.
Yeah, or like Trent or someone. So that's probably the way I'm going to play this. I saw that the scout was saying that Rashford might have a bit of a field day at Spurs because
I've seen not scout but somewhere else saying that he's going to haul against Tottenham. They think.
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of Brentford's attacks were coming down the left. But I suppose it depends whether Rashford plays on the left or if he plays through the centre again.
He's much more effective on the left.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And then I had enough money where I had 2 4.5s. Archer, who's, let's face it, never going to play.
Yeah.
And the Mubama, who might play because I think West Ham, Antonio has been shit for a while. So he might play, but now I've got Nketiah and Pedro. Again, both quite likely to get price rises, you would think.
Yeah.
And basically the result is that like my bench now is like still cheap, but really strong.
You won't have to make many transfers with that if it all pans out.
Yeah. So this is it. So in order to justify having this early wildcard, I think that the plan needs to be that I'm like really, really strict about not taking -4s unless I absolutely have to. There should be no need to with this team, especially like the next few weeks, fixtures wise. Yeah, like I'm going to bench Wan-Bissaka for the Spurs game, but obviously they've got Forest at home next.
Yeah.
Then Arsenal away, so again might bench him there. But
you have Gusto backing it up, and as long as he starts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or you play the 3 at the back that you got there anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the hardest thing with this team is actually picking up the starting lineup.
Yeah.
It's like there's gonna be weeks where my bench like
frustrations with points left on the bench potentially.
Yeah, 100%. So that's probably the biggest like worry. But then, yeah, it just gives me that freedom to like chop and change, not take -4s. Hopefully, not make any transfers one week and save 2 for the next week. Which last season I don't think I did that like at all.
Yeah, already.
But that would be a like nice commodity to have. Even this week, just looking at this team, I'd say Pedro versus Nketiah's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like you said, Wolves did look pretty good. They don't concede many, but I'm leaning towards Pedro just for the fact that he's on pens basically, and
yeah, that is the advantage, really, isn't it?
And he's probably going to play more minutes as well than Nketiah. Like looking at that, he came off after 87, and Nketiah came off after 72.
Yeah,
and Palace as well, I think, are pretty good, especially at home.
Yeah, we struggled there in the past. We did beat them there early on last season. I think it was the first game of last season. But yeah, usually it's and it's a Monday night fixture, that one as well. Evening game at Palace is usually not the easiest.
Yeah. And also Pedro obviously is much higher owned, so just in terms of covering a little bit, probably better off going with him for now. I part of the reason why I did it was because I thought he was going to go up in price overnight. He didn't, but he will do imminently. So hopefully, I got a few that next week will go up. Shouldn't have any going down. And then I think we both said we're probably going to go for Turner tonight over Steele. Is it?
I think I'm going to, yeah.
I think
just because Wolves looked. I mean, I've got a mate who supports Wolves, and he's like, that is the problem, is that they don't score goals. But if they create the amount of chances they did against Brighton, then hopefully they can tuck one away.
Yeah, and like their first home game in the season, they'll be well up for it. And I think because we've got Estupiñán anyway, it's like, I don't know, doubling up. I didn't see Sheffield United, but Forest, I mean, you'd think they have a good chance there.
I don't think Sheffield United were very good. I don't think their fans have got great expectations. I'm not sure they've done too much in the transfer market.
So in the same Pedro, I think so too. I think I'm going to go for that. Turner copied you. I don't think I did, but we might see Turner in a few teams this week, I think. Because if you've got him on the bench, there's never going to be a better fixture to put him in for, really.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen? Should we have a quick look at yours?
Yeah.
And then we can have a quick look at the league and before we wrap up.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be a bit too early for game news tonight. Not that it really affects anything anyway, because no one's really got any Forest or Sheffield United assets, so not too important. Me beating you in the head-to-head just on that quickly, like, fucking hell. I don't know what the score was in the end last season. Like, I don't even know if I got to 10 wins against you. I fortunately, I can't remember, but I got absolutely dicked. So, starting with a win is great news in that. I'll take it.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
The one thing I'm gutted about really is that, like, I said to myself, everyone's going to want a captain, like before the season started, everyone's going to want a captain Salah in game week 2. So I knew that I would have to spend money or spend points to get him in. So it's like, why didn't I just put him in at the start? I know it's only because they had Chelsea, and it's just like, well, it's Salah, he can do anything against anyone really. So a bit frustrated I've had to spend 4 points straight away because the plan is to not do that. But it was necessary. So I've done the same move as you. I've taken Bruno and Rashford out with a view to bring in probably one of those back in next week, because it's a fixture swing for United. So the next week they've got Forest at home, Liverpool have got Newcastle away. So it'll probably, and I've got no money in the bank now with this team either. So
just on that, that's my only problem. Well, that's my only thing with having Diaz and Salah. I like Liverpool have a lot of options. Obviously, I was a bit surprised Darwin was benched for that first game. I suppose Darwin and Jota are going to be the two swapping around, and like Diaz is more likely to play. But
he's becoming more nailed, I think, isn't he? He's on that.
He was really good last season before he got injured. I think we both had him, didn't we? And then he got injured when he came back. He struggled a little bit, but but yeah, I'm just conscious of having a way out for Diaz. Not I don't want to stick with two Liverpool necessarily for too long. Obviously, Bournemouth at home is just. I know they smashed them 8-0 or whatever it was last season. It's not going to happen again, but it's just such a tasty fixture. But I think if I do make a transfer this week, it will probably be taking Diaz back out.
Yeah, I could have just done the one. I could have just put Szoboszlai in and kept Salah out and captain Szoboszlai, but don't know enough about him yet to give him the arm back.
What's his ownership? Pretty low.
3.8. I mean,
yeah.
Because like I said, Salah for Bruno, and then the Rashford I had bang on 7. If I had 7.5, I would have definitely put Diaz in. It wasn't worth taking a -8 just to do that.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai was on corners, he's taken some attacking threat away from Trent. And he could. There was one chance where he probably should have slid. I think it might have been Diaz again through, but he looked decent in general. I felt he's willing to give him a chance for 7 mil against Bournemouth, and if he doesn't do anything, he can come back out again next week. Unfortunately, another -4, but I'm keeping faith with Foden. I think with KDB now being out, and they're looking pretty threadbare in attacking wise. I don't know if you watched the Super Cup game, but Rodri again. I know a lot of people transferred him in.
Yeah,
he seems to be playing a bit more forward and providing a few more assists potentially.
Yeah, he's obviously like the one that they aim for set pieces as well a lot of the time.
Yeah, he does get on the end of a lot of stuff.
That was how he got his assists in the first game. I think it was one of those. It seemed a bit rash how many people jumped on him, but he is a cheap Man City asset who's going to play every game, so I get it.
Yeah.
Sort of like I suppose, like Gundogan in the past, sort of had that. That often. But yeah, Foden, he was a bit quiet in that first game, but if he starts often enough, he's gonna get decent points.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have somebody else at home to Newcastle, but like I said, I had to get Salah in, and I couldn't make too much. He would, if I was doing the wildcard, Foden probably would be out, but they've got Sheffield United next. I'm pretty sure he's going to play at least 70 minutes in this Newcastle game, and he did take a few set pieces against Sevilla, so could be a good long-term hold. But he's always been a bit of a dodgy one, Foden, hasn't he? And I'm still not sure on his best position. I think he was playing more centrally, wasn't doing a lot, and they put him on the right towards the end, and he did a bit more. So, not too sure.
Obviously, the De Bruyne injury looks like he's going to be out for 3-4 months. That's quite big. It looks obviously that would mean that it's probably going to be Alvarez who gets more minutes more than anyone. We saw a few people doubled up on him and Haaland, which I didn't think about, and actually it could be quite a good shout if they're playing together quite often.
He only came on for 5 minutes in the Super Cup, so he's bound to play this weekend. I think quite a few City fans saying that they're not keen on him in that KDB role, which is where he's had to play a lot of the time because obviously City only play one up top. So I'm not in a massive rush to get him in. He's definitely on the watch list. More so on the watch list now that because there's some news today that Stone's got it because he was back on the bench for the Sevilla game. Then he's picked up a hamstring injury in training, so he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I was thinking Rico Lewis could be an option at 4.5 because he started the last game. And obviously he's down as a defender, so he could be like a enabler, a bit like Gusto. And Cole Palmer, I guess I'm not sure how much he is, but obviously he's popped up with a couple of goals.
He's 5.
He's 5, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's 5. Bernardo as well is out, I think, just for this week. But obviously Bernardo, De Bruyne out. Yeah. They're only wingers now, really. A Foden, Grealish, who's obviously back. He's dropped in price. And Palmer. So, like Palmer, looks. I don't know if he'll start very often, but definitely will get more minutes this season.
Yeah. And then obviously that deal for Paqueta, that looks like that's collapsed now. Something to do with some betting irregularity as well, some dodginess going on. So
no, really.
See what comes out of that, yeah. But they're going to have to sign a couple of players, you'd imagine.
Their next fixtures, after obviously Newcastle at home this week, but then Sheffield United away, Fulham
they
at
are good.
home, West Ham away, Forest at home, Wolves away. I mean, it feels like it would be wise to have a Man City defender in there. I was gonna have Edison and then didn't. I know a few people did. I know Dom did. I still think it is tempting to do that just so you don't have to worry about who's going to play.
Yeah.
Sounds like Laporte's going to leave.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's out of Ake and Akanji.
And Guardiola now. Because he played.
Guardiola,
And
yeah.
he's playing left back.
You got Ruben Diaz as well. So it's just like.
Back, yeah.
It's hard, it's very difficult.
There's always one that misses out, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're all just as likely as each other. Diaz is captain, so he should, when he's fully fit, he should be playing all the time, but you don't know what sort of injury he's carrying. Might be easing back in. So
yeah.
Edison, like you said, you can just set and forget, but the rest are
still a bit dodge. I mean, yeah, so I'm not sure like what I'm going to do there. It just feels like not having a Man City defender for any of those fixtures or for that run of fixtures is a bit dodgy. All right, cool. Have a quick look at maybe the transfers in. Although, maybe just very quickly because I suppose we sort of know. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah, there's probably a few gems, maybe a bit further down the list. That I mean, one person I got my on from Wolves was Pedro Neto. He had a good game against United.
He was one of those last season who looked like he could have been the bargain of the year. I think he was 5-0, and he was just coming back from that injury, and then he just couldn't do anything. But before that, he did look really good, so it could be Henry. He was getting forward a lot, but yeah, how many clean sheets Brentford are going to keep? I don't know.
And Disasi obviously scored. He could maybe go right back if they're not confident in Gusto. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I don't know if
he got an assist, and they have a fixture swing in 2 or 3 games time. They get better fixtures today.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost wait until
Brighton away.
Yeah. I think I will need to plan for getting someone from Newcastle in at that point. Yeah, obviously Rodrigo's gone up, Saka's gone up, Diaz. Bit surprised there isn't more. But
maybe might up tonight.
Those 6.5 options, man, they're pretty good. Obviously, Barnes started on the bench, but he's going to be starting maybe from this week or sooner or later.
Yeah.
Mitoma, and they all produced, didn't they? Basically, Mitoma got an assist.
They all did a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, Martinelli, not having him, I'm a bit fearful of.
85 minutes he played as well. He does look sharp, and we got good fixtures.
Quality assist.
Yeah. He does take corners as well, so I think he does justify that 8 mil. I'll be looking at maybe getting him in for Salah next week.
I suppose it's is Saka still on pens? We don't know that yet.
You don't know. I think he probably is.
That probably is what swings it for me. I'm not sure about having both of them at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't create a massive amount of chances against Forest, did we?
Nah, it was pretty tight. And then, like I say, Isaac, I think, I'm a bit surprised that he's the most transferred by that many just because of their fixtures. Man City away, Liverpool at home. But the way they're playing, they might actually, they'll be very competitive even against those teams, I'd imagine.
Will. Jackson looked, obviously he's missed a couple of chances, but overall I thought he looked good. That was the first time I've seen him play really properly. That's the thing with the only thing with my team is I don't know whether I should. At the moment, I've got no money in the bank after this wild card, and I don't know whether I should leave some so that I can bring in like a Jackson or something.
Yeah, that's it. But I'm running out of time to think about that now. Well, we've got 10, 13 minutes till the game week closes.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a quick look at the league then.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up.
Oh, what? It's already updating.
Is it 7:45?
It must be. I didn't actually check my. I did have Salah captain, yeah. If I can hope so.
Oh
That's
shit!
something I always forget. I just do my team, and I'm like, yeah, it's cushy. And I look at it the next day, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to change the
Oh
captain.
shit!
I'm sure it's fine.
Pretty sure I did as well.
Yeah.
I have considered changing it, but nah, it's got to be. It's got to be. All right then. Well, in that case, so yeah, I was just waiting for it to be. It's always 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday. I thought.
Yeah.
I did see someone mention. That's a good point. Like with all this injury time that's being added now, like 8 o'clock kickoff normally finishes just before 10 anyway. Now it's going to be like quite a bit after 10, like quarter past or something.
Yeah.
So, like maybe they're gonna start doing earlier kickoffs more often, just because the game's
Travel
like,
and
gonna go on.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's a bit harsh for people who need to like catch a train or whatever.
Yeah. They probably will. Yeah, I suspect that is. Let's think Sheffield. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
quite
remember.
true.
I don't remember any 7:45 kickoffs on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the game? What was the Friday? Oh, Burnley City. They're close to each other, aren't they? Last week, but Forest, Sheffield United. That's a bit more of a trip. So maybe you'll start to see more 7:45s again, rather than
yeah.
the 8 o'clocks.
But anyway, that might have caught some people out this week because I didn't even check that, and I was
Yeah.
100% sure it was
I'm
going to
not
close
even
at
sure if I've
6:30.
got Turner or Still in goal either. That's the other one I didn't know. I think I had Turner.
I think Sloaner might have checked, but might have forgot to check. But yeah, hopefully it didn't catch too many of you out. In that case, I mean the fantasy is refreshing. So I think we'll leave it there. I think checking the league anyway, we all know roughly you either captained Haaland or you didn't. You either had Isaac or you didn't. So if you had Isaac, you're probably on about 80. If you
Yeah.
didn't, but you captain Haaland, you're on about 70. And if you didn't captain Haaland, you're in the 60s. That's basically it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll leave it there. Good luck, everyone. I know Greg's
Good
done his
luck.
wild card. Looking forward to seeing that. Send it over because I don't
Yeah.
think we've seen it at all. Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, catch you next week. Good
Sam,
luck.
nice one. Sam.